In this episode of Inside the Mind, we're going to explore something that happens in the dating world all the time, but rarely gets discussed openly: the ways women test men's confidence. These aren't manipulative games. They're often unconscious filters women use to gauge if someone is genuine, secure, and emotionally stable. So let's talk about the 9 signs she's testing your confidence, and more importantly, how to respond authentically without playing games yourself. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone you're attracted to, and suddenly they say something that feels like a trap? Maybe they mention an ex, or they challenge your opinion, or they pull back right when things were going well. It leaves you second-guessing yourself, wondering if you said something wrong, or if they've lost interest. That uncomfortable feeling, that slight panic, is exactly what these tests are designed to reveal. Because confidence isn't just about how you act when everything's going your way. True confidence shows up precisely when things get awkward, when you're challenged, or when rejection feels possible. And whether consciously or unconsciously, people are drawn to genuine confidence because it signals something deeper: emotional stability, self-awareness, and an absence of neediness. So let's break down these tests and understand what's really happening beneath the surface. Sign number 1. She mentions other guys who are interested in her. This is a classic test, and it triggers insecurity in many men immediately. She might casually bring up a coworker who asked her out, or mention how someone complimented her earlier, and your instinct might be to feel threatened, to start comparing yourself, or worse, to try and put those other guys down to elevate yourself. But here's what's actually happening. She's checking if you become possessive, jealous, or insecure when faced with potential competition. A confident response isn't pretending not to care. It's acknowledging what she said without letting it shake your self-worth. Something simple like, "He has good taste," with a genuine smile shows you're secure enough not to feel threatened by the existence of other interested people. Sign number 2. She challenges your opinion or decision. You suggest a restaurant. She questions if it's any good. You share a viewpoint on something. She immediately presents a counter-argument. This isn't necessarily because she disagrees. It's often to see if you'll stand your ground or immediately fold. Many guys make the mistake of abandoning their position at the first sign of resistance, thinking agreeability is attractive. But what she's really gauging is whether you have conviction in your thoughts and choices. Can you respectfully maintain your position without becoming defensive? Can you consider her perspective without automatically abandoning yours? That balance, being open-minded yet grounded in your own thinking, demonstrates real confidence. Sign number 3. She goes quiet or gives short responses. The conversation was flowing, and suddenly her responses become minimal. Maybe one-word answers, maybe just nodding. This creates an awkward tension that many guys rush to fill with nervous chatter, over-explaining, or increasingly desperate attempts to reignite the connection. What's happening? She's seeing how comfortable you are with silence and temporary disconnection. Relationships have natural ebbs and flows of energy, and confident people don't panic when the vibe dips momentarily. They're secure enough to allow a natural pause, to check in if something seems off, or to comfortably end a conversation that's run its course without it threatening their self-image. Sign number 4, she reschedules or changes plans last minute. This one stings because it feels like a direct hit to your priority level in her life. She tells you something came up and needs to move your date, or halfway through making plans, she suggests something completely different. Your reaction here reveals volumes about your security and flexibility. While it's important to have boundaries around your time, there's a difference between standing up for yourself and reacting from wounded pride. The confident response acknowledges reality without creating unnecessary drama. "No problem. How about next Thursday instead?" shows you value your time but aren't emotionally derailed by a simple schedule change. Sign number 5. She asks about your past relationships. When she brings up exes or your dating history, it might seem like casual curiosity, but it's often a rich territory for confidence testing. The specifics she's looking for aren't about your past partners. They're about how you speak about them, what you learned, and whether you carry unresolved bitterness. The unconfident response includes bad-mouthing exes, playing the victim in every past relationship, or, alternatively, being suspiciously vague to hide perceived failures. Confident people own their relationship history with maturity, acknowledging both good experiences and mistakes without letting those define their self-worth or their expectations for future connections. Sign number 6. She gives you a compliment and watches your reaction. This might seem straightforward. Who doesn't like compliments? But your response to praise can reveal deep insecurities. Do you deflect the compliment completely? Do you get awkwardly self-deprecating, or do you respond with an excess of gratitude that suggests you rarely receive positive feedback? Truly confident people can accept compliments graciously with a simple thank you because they don't need external validation to feel worthy, but they also don't reject it when it comes. They can appreciate recognition without becoming dependent on it. Sign number 7. She mentions something about herself that makes her vulnerable. This is a reciprocity test. She shares something personal, maybe an insecurity, a past mistake, or a dream she's afraid won't happen. What she's looking for isn't advice or solutions. It's whether you can meet her vulnerability with empathy and perhaps some vulnerability of your own. Insecure people often respond to others' vulnerability in one of two ways. They either one-up it with their own bigger problems, or they immediately switch to problem-solving mode to avoid the emotional discomfort. Confident people can sit with someone else's vulnerability without trying to fix it or compete with it. They understand that connecting often matters more than correcting. Sign number 8. She disagrees with you in front of others. This public disagreement triggers many people's fear of embarrassment or loss of status. Whether it's a friendly debate or a genuine difference of opinion, how you handle being challenged in front of others speaks volumes about your security. Do you become defensive? Do you try to win at all costs? Do you withdraw completely? The confident response acknowledges her perspective, maintains your position if you still believe in it, and doesn't treat disagreement as a relationship threat. You understand that two secure people can see things differently without it becoming personal. Sign number 9. She tests your boundaries by pushing a little. Maybe she's running significantly late without communicating. Maybe she makes a joke at your expense to see how you'll respond. Maybe she asks for favors early on to see if you're a people pleaser. However it manifests, she's checking if you have healthy boundaries and the confidence to enforce them respectfully. This isn't about being rigid or unaccommodating. It's about knowing yourself well enough to distinguish between flexibility and being taken advantage of. Confident people can say no without anger, set expectations without apologizing, and address crossing of boundaries directly rather than through passive aggression or silent resentment. So what do these 9 signs tell us about confidence and connection? The thread running through all of them is emotional stability, not perfection, not an absence of insecurity. We all have insecurities, but a consistency in how you respond to challenges, how you handle tension, and how you maintain your sense of self even when tested. And here's something important to remember. While I've framed these as tests women give men, they rarely are deliberate traps. They're natural interactions that reveal character over time. The confident response isn't about passing a test, it's about showing up authentically regardless of whether you're being evaluated. Because ultimately, the most attractive quality isn't confidence as a performance. It's the genuine security that comes from knowing your worth doesn't depend on another person's assessment of you. It's about bringing your whole self to interactions, strengths, flaws, boundaries, and all, without excessive fear of judgment or rejection. So the next time you feel like your confidence is being tested in a relationship, remember that it's not about having perfect responses. It's about responding from a place of self-respect, authenticity, and emotional maturity. Because true confidence isn't the absence of insecurity, it's the ability to acknowledge insecurity without being controlled by it. That's what creates genuine connection. Not impressing someone with a false display of unwavering self-assurance, but meeting them as a whole person who's comfortable in their own complexity. If any of these signs resonated with you, or if you've experienced these tests and found your own ways of responding authentically, let me know in the comments. Understanding these dynamics helps all of us build healthier connections. Thanks for tuning into Inside the Mind.